Hey everyone, my name is Rodolfo and this is how God changed my life. So growing up, my life it was nice, but it was also difficult in some aspects. I never grew up with a father figure. It was always my mother, and she was always harsh on me, but that was only because she wanted the best for me. But it was also difficult for me to communicate with her at certain times in my life because she was always that strict parent where she wanted everything to be perfect. And I don't blame her. She always tried to prove everyone wrong, especially when it came to her children. Like she always told everyone that her children were perfect in every way and that they didn't have any flaws. But I had my flaws. I just couldn't talk to her about that. And, I suffered in silence because of it. I couldn't really talk to my dad because, again, he was absent. And growing up, that really took a toll on me. But I always knew that the father figure that I've always wanted was God. And he was always there for me growing up. He made sure that I always had a home. I had my mom, I had my brother, and I had clothes and I had food at the table, a roof over my head, and he really provided for me during the whole time. So when it came to my dad, he wasn't there when I was born. He never really showed up until I was like 6 years old is when he first contacted me. And he tried to take me out and do certain things with me. I loved it. I was a kid at the time. I was happy that my father was there in a sense. And it only took like a few months before he disappeared again. And during that time, I was filled with like so much hope that like this was permanent, that he would get back with my mom. We'd have that perfect family that I always dreamed of. But life isn't always about having things the perfect way. And it took a lot for me to realize that. And I thank him and I thank God that, he wasn't always there. In the times he was there, I am really thankful for that. And I'm also thankful for the times that he wasn't there because I feel like it built who I am today. And did it suck? Yeah. I always wish I had my dad. I remember going around the neighborhood, I seen kids with their dads like doing construction stuff, just playing around, fooling around, driving together. And I was always like, dang, like I want to be like that. I want to be with my dad. But sometimes I don't get what I wanted, and I'm okay with that because I knew that at the end of the day, I had God, I had my mom, I had my family, and I had friends. So growing up, my mom introduced me to church. First, we went to this one church where it was really nice. I don't have that many memories of it because I was really young at the time. But then I was introduced to Vida Real. And that's where my relationship with God started growing more because I had a conscience by then. And I don't remember much, but I still remember the times where like it was really nice. I loved it so much. The people there were so welcoming. And over the years, I'd stayed at Vida Real. I was building my relationship with God. But there was a moment when I grew up a little bit more and I became distant. I became distant from God. I became distant from this church. I even tried going to a new church. I opened up my own célula and it took like a month and it just stopped. It just didn't work out because I felt mentally drained. I felt like my relationship with God was so bad that I had no support from him at all. And that just took a toll on me because I felt like he wasn't there for me, that he wasn't rooting for me, he wasn't helping me build a célula, so I just shut it down. I completely shut it down, and after that, my life just took a turn for the worse spiritually because I did some things that I'm not proud of. I lied to my mom about some things that I'm not proud of that she ended up finding out about. I went down the wrong path, and it really changed my perspective on life. It made me realize that I wasn't and I'm not built for that type of life, a life without God. Because during that whole time, I felt so alone. I had people, I was in a relationship and I had people there to support me physically, like that physical love, but I didn't have that spiritual love that I was yearning for, that I needed. And I tried my best to block it out. I tried my best to distract myself every day, and I couldn't. I genuinely could not. And it made me realize that at the end of the day, the person that I needed the most was God, because everyone left. Everyone left. And the one person that I thought would never leave physically, they left. And that's when I realized that all of it was meant to bring me back to Him. Now, during the time where I was distant from God, I committed sins. I started drinking, I started smoking. I lied to my mom about me going to school. I used to skip school a lot to go drink, to go smoke. I became very prone to adultery. And in that time, I lost my virginity, something that as a kid I told myself I'd wait till marriage for, because I know it's something very sacred. And I completely failed. And all those fails, it made me spiral. It made me think I'm not worthy enough to serve God. I'm not His child anymore. He won't love me after everything that I've done. The same way that my mom was mad at me, I thought He was mad at me as well, which is why I felt as if I was being blocked out, as if I was just being silenced out. And during that time, I felt horrible about myself. I did. But again, I tried distracting myself by committing the same sin and just telling myself, it's okay. It's okay. You're blocking everything out. This feels good, is what I kept telling myself. This feels good. And I was basically just buzzing everything out. I stopped drinking and smoking once my mom found out, because I felt like I let her down. I lost her trust. And when I lost my mother's trust, the one person who always believed in me, I felt like I lost way more than I thought possible. And I tried everything to prove to her that I wasn't the same person after months, after years. And there are times, yes, where today it does get a little iffy with that topic, but that trust I'm gaining back again, which I'm proud about. And about the other sin, about adultery, I'm getting past that. I don't do the same things I did before. And overall, all of that just made me feel as if I wasn't righteous enough. And it just made me so distant, so cold, that I just wanted it all to end. I just wanted it all to end completely. There were times where I wanted to run away and just never speak to anyone again, just start over. But I knew that I had to keep going. I couldn't let my story end like this. And I'm glad I didn't, because if I let my story end like that, I wouldn't be who I am today. So after all the trial and tribulations that I went through, like all the sins that I've committed, all the mistakes that I've committed, I finally came back to God. It took a lot in me. It took one of the hardest things to do to bring me back to Him. And ever since then, I've felt more alive than ever. I felt rejuvenated. I felt like I was brought back to life. I haven't committed any of the sins that I've done in the past, and I owe it all to Him. Every day I wake up, every time I go to sleep now, I thank Him for all the hard times, for all the good times, because I know during all that, I wasn't alone. I may have felt like I was alone, but I was never alone. And now it's like I'm trying my hardest to build my relationship with God, and it's going good. You know, it's not an easy path, but at the same time, it's worth it, because although physically I may feel as if I'm alone, but spiritually, I'm not alone. And 2 years ago, I would have felt the complete opposite. Because now it's like no matter where I go, if I'm driving by myself, if I'm at home by myself, I know he's there with me. And that fills me up with joy. I don't have the same sadness that I had before. I don't have that same anxiety that I had before, which I always battled with. I've always battled with anxiety, with overthinking. And ever since being brought back to him, ever since he brought me back to him, I haven't had to overthink anything because I know it's all in his power. It's all in his control. It's all in his hands. And it took a lot for me to realize that before coming back. Like I had my doubts. I had my doubts if I was worthy enough to come back. I had my doubts about coming back to church, if I was even worthy enough. I thought people weren't gonna like welcome me back. But it turns out everyone was waiting for me to come back, especially him. He was waiting for me to come back, and he was waiting with open arms. And it makes me happy because right now I'm trying my best to make a name for myself in the church. I'm trying to hopefully one day become a leader and just inspire many others who may be going through the same thing, maybe not, but who just want to hear words of inspiration. And to everyone out there who may feel like you're not worthy enough, may feel like you're not righteous enough, who have gone into the wrong path, you're not alone. You may feel alone, but he's always waiting for you, and he won't give up on you. You may give up on him, but he'll never give up on you, because no matter what, he loves you unconditionally. And I know it's hard. Trust me, I know. I know it's really hard. And I have my times where I stumble. I'm not gonna lie. Do I listen to worldly music still? Yeah, I do. And I'm trying hard to battle that. But it's all in his timing. You just have to trust him and let him take control. Because no matter what, he will never let you go. Never let you go. Because he loves you so much that he gave his only son for us. And that's what I remind myself every day. That's what's kept me going this whole time, ever since I came back. And being with God, it's a different feeling, and it always will be.